Now, going over Garmir, the first dragon we will see today is indeed the legendary Ice Invoker. The first spell is Ice Mist. It is a white spell that costs 1 rage. It says that it'll be a chain lightning spell that damages towers with 20% of max HP. It says 1 chain, question mark, as it's not guaranteed to just be 1 chain yet. The next spell will be something called Frostwolf Howl. It is a red spell that costs 2 rage. It will damage and freeze nearby towers. The damage will consist of 16% max HP of the dragon and will freeze the towers for 3 seconds. The affected towers will also take 30% increased damage. The next spell, which is actually a set of spells because it's a teleportation spell, is called Recall. It is a red spell that costs 1 rage. It says that after 1 second, dragon will teleport forward. It'll teleport back if recast within 15 seconds. Note the within 15 seconds, or the spell will reset. The next spell is called Frost Beacon. It is a white spell that will cost 1 rage. It says that the dragon will be invincible for 2 seconds and then will mark nearby towers. When each of those towers is destroyed, it'll gain 0.5 rage, but only if it's the marked towers that are killed. Next, we see the passive spell, which you can tell because it is yellow and it also says passive on the side. This is something that will be automatically cast when the invoker starts recharging. This spell says that 15% of the max HP will be dealt in damage and freeze towers in the target area for 3 seconds. This is simply another overview of the Invoker Garmir, and it shows how the ruins and the glyphs in its line will affect the dragon, both HP-wise and cooldown-wise. And also the portraits that were shown last episode are shown here to go with this dragon. The next dragon is N10, the Mythic Earth Sorcerer. The first spell is Gaia Shield, which is white that costs 2 rage. It says reduces incoming damage by 50%, grants immunity to Ori Pool effect, which is huge, heals for 12% max HP. The next spell is called Catalysm. It is a white spell as well, and it costs 2 rage. It is an AoE damage. It does AoE damage and freezes nearby towers. The damage is 10% of the HP, which emphasizes the max HP, and it freezes for 5 seconds. It then says that the towers take 75% additional damage. The next spell is called Earth's Judgment, and it is a white spell that costs 2 rage. It says that it heals 10% of HP on cast, and then it is a one-shot spell. Times 100 attack power, radius 3.3. I'm not exactly sure what that means. For the final spell, we have Reclaim, which is a blue spell that costs no rage. It says that you gain 5% of your HP back and 1 rage on tower kill while the spell is active. Again, as before, we look at another overview of N10, the Mythic Earth Sorcerer, and we can see how his ruins and glyphs affect his cooldowns and his HP. I'll give a minute to look at all these different stats. Additionally, as shown last episode, we can also see the portrait again that will come with him in his line. The next dragon is called Mogorot, and as said before, it is the Mythic Dark Warrior. The first spell is called Predator Instinct, which is a red spell that costs 1 rage. For this spell, you cloak for 3 seconds and you can attack during this spell. You fly at 50% of your speed, and you also produce 150% of rage generation. The next spell is called Dark Burden. It is a white spell that costs 1 rage. During the spell, you have plus 300% breath attacks, and you take 20% of max HP as damage, which kind of sucks. The next spell is called Roar of Sorrow. This is a red spell that costs 1 rage, and it says AoE damage and freeze to nearby towers. So area of effect damage and will freeze nearby towers. It will damage 3% of its max HP to these towers and will freeze them for 1 second. The last spell, which is a passive as well, is called Demonic Frenzy. And this spell will heal 1% of max HP on structure killed by breath. So each structure that is killed, you will get 1% of your HP back. With Mogarot, the mythic dark warrior, we can see the ruins and the glyphs that will come with this line. As with the other dragons thus far, there are cooldowns on some of his spells. Unlike the other dragons thus far though, instead of increasing the HP, it increases the attack. And as shown last episode as well, here are the portraits that will come with this dragon in his line. Next dragon is the mythic wind hunter, Zephyr. The first spell is called Ice Gale. It's a white spell that costs 1 rage. The dragon will dodge all non-beam attacks for 4 seconds, will reload 30% of its ammo, and fly at 125% of its base speed, while this spell is working. The next is called Snow Decoy. It is a white spell that costs 2 rage. It'll summon a minion that absorbs incoming damage and the mage super shots. The minion's HP/attack power will be 13% of the dragon's. This will continue until the minion is killed. There is no cooldown and it can be resummoned as soon as it dies. The next spell is called Second Wind. It is a white spell that costs 2 rage. The dragon gains a shield for 50% of its max HP, which is what MHP stands for. It also has a 250% bonus to its attack for 7 seconds. It will take 10% of max HP damage after duration, which is not really the best in my opinion. The next spell, or should I say the last spell of this dragon, is called Honorable Wings. It is a blue spell that costs 1 rage. On cast, the dragon will gain 3 rage, so basically it gains 2 rage, net worth wise, and it'll heal 10% of the max HP per tower kill while this spell is active. Lastly, we show his runes and his glyphs and how they affect him in his line. Like all the other dragons, the durations go down, and just like the warrior, the attack goes up. And here are the portraits that will go with him, as shown last episode again. Next little bit of information will just be how many keys you need, the normal 20, the normal 8 ascension tokens, how much each branch will cost sigil-wise, how many keys you'll get as rewards from it, how the season will work out, which one's PvP, which one's a minor event like fortification or breeding, what will be going on like trading posts, dungeons, and when the festive dragon will be released, when the resurrection dragon will be released, and when the other branches will be released.